All right. All right. So let's see if we can get one. Easier to just talk it through it rather than typing and taking screenshots. So
I
still heavy
entered already.
bearish.
Yeah,
Sorry, what was that?
I entered it already. I entered as it was when it broke the low, and as it was starting to push up, then with like a minute to go, I went in.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just waiting
Then
for a
just
confirmation, but I see
yeah,
anywhere in here, like the fifth, where's my pen?
you could just do anything after
Yeah.
around closing doji. You could
Yeah. Just try and get all this set up. Where's all my stuff? Here we go. All right. So 30 minute. Oh, let me just turn this noise off. Okay. Still heavy bearish pressure. So pushing down, and then we've got like a bit of structure here, then pushing down. So really, the trend is heavy. We're fighting the higher time frame trend here. So really being quite picky. But it has hit this area, this zone from 28 September, which is back here. Okay. So,
yeah, I couldn't believe how quick that happened.
yeah, that was crazy. But there's monthly levels around here, so I'm expecting this to at least give some sort of reaction. Now, what we've done, we filled the 30-minute imbalance there. Um, Obviously, it gave like a little tiny reaction, like maybe 15, 20 pips or so. Not a lot, nothing crazy. Then the 15-minute now, we're coming down to fill this imbalance. It's more or less around the halfway point. So that's one good sign at the moment. That's going to become a point of interest where from this wick to that wick, bring it across. So you can see like where the colors meet. That's the
Yeah,
halfway
we
point. So
just had
that's
another 5 minute doji there now as well.
okay. Yeah. So that's the 15-minute imbalance. 5 minute now. So this was the first area where we could be trapping some or building some liquidity. So I wanted to see this get taken and that liquidity to have a reaction, but it didn't. So that was a fake candle at the moment. Now we've
Yeah,
got this doji, which is looking good. I'd like to see something sweep it and then break the high. Let
yeah.
me just remove
I
this so it doesn't
jumped into
confuse.
that other one with a minute left to go on the candle, but as it was pushing up.
Oh yeah, yeah. So inside this 5 minute, like maybe it won't come down and take it, but what we could look at is then inside of this 5 minute candle. Oh my god. Anyway, go to the 1 minute and look for the same thing. So we've got there's the low of this
Yeah,
candle, and then this one here is taking it.
yeah,
So, but to me, that's a little bit too close at the moment. So the other
yeah.
thing that it would be, how do I get rid of this one? Get rid of, oh, I still got this thing. So delete, delete, delete. Oh shit, wrong one. Okay, delete that. So the other thing that this is a double bottom. So this is generating liquidity as well. So what I can do is just put a,
But you're still going to wait. Are you going to wait for a retest of that?
yeah, yeah,
Or
just
you were
because
only
it's
going to go
down.
in on the close if you've done it the first time?
Sorry.
You were only going to enter on the close. You were only going to put in a buy order if you'd done it on the first 5 minute doji.
Yep, that's right. So the first 5 minute would have been, I wanted to
Yeah,
see a really strong reaction given
yeah,
the close of the 30-minute imbalance, but it wasn't. So now I want to be a little bit more careful. So at the
yeah,
moment, this is just creating that double bottom. To me, that means there's liquidity under there. So now I want to see it taken. So I'd like to see, even on the 1 minute now, something could do something like really close to it. And then I'd love to see a liquidity candle or something that spikes down and then closes quite strong. And then if I get that, I would take an entry from more or less here, or even from the halfway of that wick. Keep stops really tight and then target higher. If I don't get that, then I don't mind waiting for that same sort of pattern here, because then I'd say that this already picked up enough liquidity and it could just move. But given the double bottom here, I'd rather see that taken first, given I want to be a little bit more careful given the higher time frame downtrend.
Yeah.
So let me just zoom out so we can see it. Still got plenty of time in the London Open, but that's nice, that double bottom there. So just wait to see that get taken out. Looking like it's going to do it now. Okay, there we go. So that's taken. So now I want to see if it just keeps on going down.
Fucking stop me out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
Fuck's sake.
So you were the liquidity there.
Yeah.
So with Joe's liquidity picked up, let's see if we can get a
I think I've been
second.
funding the market all week.
Yeah. And your demo
Okay,
account.
so what? Sorry, Hayden. So what
Yeah.
level have
Thank you.
got?
Banana there, please.
Hold a sec. What was that? Sorry, Danny.
So what level have you? I've got like my levels at 1622. I've got a little rectangle through the top there of the same sort of retesting area that you're looking at, but it just broke through.
Okay. Now I'm going to look at there's this area and then there's this area. Now, so we're taking the double bottom now. Now I want to see a liquidity candle here. This here is liquidity generated. Now we need to see it react. So at the moment it's just given us this bearish structure. So that could be bearish all the way down to like maybe this imbalance, even.
Mm.
So it looks like it's doing that again. So it's just still not ready.
It's probably going to retest that low where it reacted from, is it?
It could down here.
Yeah, because it only barely wicked into that zone. Like,
Depends. Yeah, it just depends. This is definitely a breaker structure, and like where we had this whole area across here, then this could be a reaction zone. Okay, so we've got something's happening here. Let me just remove this one. This doesn't count anymore. So now we're into this imbalance. So now just looking for the same thing again. Looking for double bottom, maybe doji plus liquidity candle, and then to take the retest. At the moment, we've got the double bottom, but we didn't get the reaction from the double bottom that we want just yet.
Yeah.
Just check all time frames. So ours looking like heavy rejection from this area. You can see like perfectly like the closing prices of these candles. So let me just mark that there in orange. So this is why we had like that nice heavy reaction, but maybe we can still do the hour wick fill. We're just wicking down a little bit. 30-minute. Oh, now we're getting the reaction. Okay. So 1 minute. Was that a liquidity candle? No, still not lower than this one. 3 minute, looking like a bit of a doji now, but no top wick. So that still means like wick up a little bit, and then do the wick fill. 5 minute, hasn't closed yet. Still got another 2 minutes. 1 minute. Gosh, it's so close to a liquidity candle, but at the moment it's still maintaining this bearish structure. So it's still reacting from like these levels. So maybe it comes down, gives another double bottom, hopefully. So we'll just be patient on this one still. 15 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute now has basically filled the imbalance, that the 15-minute imbalance from this wick and this wick here. So I could tighten this up. It's just you're getting the point. So 5 minute looking like a nice little rejection. So what's that? That's only 12 pips at the moment, so not enough yet.
I had it in for that 30-minute fake out too.
What's that?
Yeah.
This one here for
I had
ourselves.
it in for the yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah. Should have held.
yeah. Nice reaction from down here. I had a sell from 24.67 from here, and it wicked down.
Yeah.
I got like 7 pips, and then I didn't want to be fighting this in case it just shot back up again. So it took me out for break even. Then the next one, this one here,
Yeah.
closed lower. And I got back in again at 16.23. Yeah, this one here, at here. When it broke this wick, I entered again
Yeah.
right here. And then this
Close below.
bastard
Yeah.
stopped me out for break even.
Oh.
Thinking that I was going to fill this.
Yeah. I thought it was too good to be true.
Yeah.
And then you guys were chatting, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to get out of this. This is just my heart's
I've got to have
palpitating."
confidence. Okay, so that's the
I
liquidity
know.
candle in the
Yeah.
opposite direction. So now, double bottom potentially. Let's see if we can wick down and then close higher. Or is it going to come down to the 50% of this imbalance?
Round number.
Yeah,
1620.
1620. Yeah, down here, key level.
Do you reckon it could go the London low?
It's
Maybe.
also the bottom of page 4 structure too.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a downtrend. So,
Mm.
what was there? Any news?
This was my idea too, and it just wicked down way too much.
Right.
I'm going to get that jump up to
Yes, no
fill those
news.
hands.
Okay, so now we're just still printing lows. So now let's see. I mean, to be honest, that reaction from up here, it makes a lot of sense for it just to continue. But let's see if we can get another little scalp. Clean candles on the way down. Let's see what this one finishes as. So waiting to see if we can get a doji here. So the price action
Here's the
pattern.
1 minute doji.
Yeah, like I'm looking for like something like this.
Anything to pause.
Anything where it's like this is part of the 5 minute doji, but then we had this candle here. So this candle here broke the low of this previous candle and then broke the high and closed higher. So there's a lot of liquidity inside this candle. And then often the next one will retest the open price or somewhere in the middle of this wick. So, okay. So now we've hit the 50% mark, closing this imbalance. So that's good. That's a good sign. Getting a bullish engulfing bar, but it didn't wick lower. So still going to hold. Not going to jump in yet. If it had wicked down lower and then pushed up, that might have been a different scenario, but it didn't. So at the moment, this could just be a pullback.
But there's no bottom wick, Hayden. So
That's what I
doesn't that
mean.
mean that
That's what I mean. It
strong?
didn't.
Okay.
Oh, well, it's in a downtrend though. So I want to see it pick liquidity up from underneath and go bullish.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So this one here was close. This was close to being a, see how it pulled liquidity and then closed bullish. This is like an attempted liquidity candle. Didn't quite close higher than the previous one. So on an attempted liquidity candle, if it did want to take this as a buy from Asian 50% because we've got confluence, then what I'd be looking at is not entering on the close of this candle or not the break of the high, but I'd rather wait for the retest and have that retest like somewhere in the halfway of that candle, the wick. So if it had, like, I wouldn't want to see it hit resistance and then come back to my area. I'd like to see it retrace pretty quickly and then push up, because then what you could be using is the low as your stop loss, your entry somewhere in here or in here somewhere, and then hope this is a fake out and then take a trade up to an opposing level of resistance and then see if you can, I'd take some profits there because it's a pretty risky trade, but then see if it can get continuation with your runner. And what you've done is remove risk here, either by moving your stop loss up to break even or close some profits here, because it will be more or less 1-to-1 by the time it gets to resistance. So you want to protect your capital. Okay, so let's focus on what's going on down here still. So there's liquidity inside this wick as well. So this would be another point of interest. So like that, let me actually put that on these charts. So this whole area under this wick would be a potential liquidity zone. So there's a bit of a double bottom there as well. You see that?
Mm.
So that could be generated liquidity to be picked up. But, you know, never forget that we're fighting a downtrend and the structure hasn't been broken, you know, still very, very, very bearish. This could just be a area for exit relief. So it means like people that were selling heavily were able to exit some of their positions at this zone, which caused that reaction back to a better sell point for them to reload their sells to just keep the trend going. So we need to be careful of that. Okay, so 5 minute, 15 minutes. Lisa's leaving a wick. 5 minute is still only, you know, it's just refilling this imbalance. So this candle will push down initially and then closed here. Next one opens and then pushes up, and now it's testing that level again. And this black line is my monthly level. So still going to hold off. You know, patience is going to pay off for us. Seeing some rejection wicks, or are these going to be wick fills? We're still yet to see, because at the moment the wicks are making lower highs, apart from this bearish liquidity candle. This here is suggestive that we're going down, and that's based on the 3 minute chart. On the 1 minute, it's still the same thing. So that was a liquidity candle. So it makes sense for price to keep on driving down. Okay, so maybe this one could be the doji. We'll be leading into the next 30-minute candle soon. The moment it's formed a resistance and a confirmation of resistance. So maybe before the next move down, it's going to retest this resistance. In that case, we can still get a nice trade up to that retest.
How tight you going in on it? Hey?
Stop loss wise,
Mm.
depends on the liquidity candle. But I'll try and give it like maybe 10, 15 pip stop.
Yeah.
I won't want to do much more than that.
Yeah.
And I won't use percentage risk, because I don't want to risk 1 or 2% of my account on like 10 pips. I'd rather just say I know what lot size I'm going to use, and I know what 10 pips would be in terms of dollars. So I can say, look, if I lose 6 pips on here, it's going to be 10, 20, 50, 100,000, whatever it's going to be.
Okay.
But if it's always 1% for some of these trades, you can like, you can quickly do some dough in if it's 1%, 1%, 1%.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got a little doji here on the 3 minutes. 5 minutes looking like a doji. Let's see. It's got 22 seconds. This would be really nice if it closes like this. Because then we are starting to see maybe a bit more seller's exhaustion. So 10 seconds. I didn't put music up on this one because the last video was copyrighted. Okay, so we've got a doji. So now, is this going to be an area where stop losses are put to drive up? We want to see those stop losses taken, then driven up, and then the retest, and then push up. If it's going to do that. So a few dojis there. So this zone inside my point of interest. Okay, so it's taken. Now we want to see a liquidity candle. Something that's taken the low, which it has. Now we want to see something break the high.
And then when it breaks the high, you want to see it retested again, yeah?
Yep. Yep. So I can keep my stop loss tight.
Retest your area of interest again.
Either if the candle is like a long wick down and then a push up like that, then
See it retest 50% of it.
Yeah, the wick or the open price.
Yeah, okay.
So that's taken the low. Has it? No, wait, look up here. So the low 1620.39, 1620.37. No, it hasn't. It's 0.002 of a pip away. Okay, there, it's taken the low.
There we go.
Now I want to see it. See, now it's taken the imbalance as well. So maybe this could be the doji, and then we can see the liquidity candle next one as well. It's come back to the Asian low again. So let's close this area. Okay, let's close the doji. Now we want to see liquidity candle. So this one. But here. And bullish. Looks like it moves quite a bit from here, like wicking from here to here. But there's only like 4 or 5 pips. But it's nice little doji. It's like if we don't see it on the 1 minute, if it's not clear on the 1 minute, it could be the 5 minute one, right? So it could just be taking the low of the 5 minute doji and then closing still bullish. And that would be a 5 minute liquidity candle. So it might be different on the different time frames. That's why we don't forget about these time frames. So this 5 minute can close above. It's got another 1 minute, 20 seconds. But this would be the first sign if this candle can break this high. If it breaks the high but closes underneath this wick, then what I'd prefer to do is take an entry somewhere in the halfway of this wick. If this closes quite strong bullish above this wick, then I might just take an entry on the open of the candle. opening price, not the open of the next candle. So at the moment, it's just fighting these lower highs. But hopefully we can get like a bit of a rounding as well, and then it could take some liquidity, fill some of these imbalances that were left behind. So what have we got? 17 seconds, 15 seconds, 5 minutes looking pretty good. Come on, break the high. Not going to do it. Not this candle. But this, it's a decent reaction though. So, oh gosh, I'd be more confident if this had broken the high of this one. So still not exactly what I want to see. But I have seen 2 5-minute rejections, wick down and then break the highs and then push up. So still going to be careful here. Either way, I can't take it when it just breaks the high. I would need to see a retest and then it leave in a wick to the downside. So 4 hour is looking hella bearish still. So it's got to happen soon. Otherwise, in 24 minutes, this 4-hour candle is going to close. And then if it closes like this, it's a 50-50 if it's going to go up or down. One hour is already given that sort of indecision look. 30-minute, we've got, so if this was the liquidity candle in the 30-minute, then it means that also an area of interest is going to be the 50% of this wick, or seeing something respect the open of this candle and then starting to push up. So we're starting to get quite a few little areas inside of here when we start looking combining the time frame. So this, let me make this. Okay, this is the wick of the 30-minute liquidity candle. So there's, oh, okay. Oh, not quite. So wick down, didn't break the high of this candle yet, but it's getting close. See how it wick down like halfway on the 5-minute, very quickly. It's just boom, down and up. So still not ready yet. Okay, so 1 minute, 4-minute lower high again. 3-minute, looking like a doji at the moment, which is good. Just sort of trying to manipulate, collect buy and sell orders inside of here. That's generating liquidity. So 30 seconds left on this one. 5-minute, still not doing much. It's inside our 30-minute wick, but we haven't broken this doji low yet. We haven't quite got a liquidity candle here yet either. We do have little imbalances being formed, little tiny ones. So it's starting to become more efficient to the upside. The selling pressure is definitely slowing, but we still need to be a little bit careful. One more sweep low and then maybe it's ready. 3 minutes, still nothing. Oh, wait, that's a liquidity candle, isn't it? So that's a 3-minute liquidity candle because it broke the high. It's basically the equal highs, but it did break the high. What I'd need to see here until it's certain, I want to see something break these highs and then take the retest because it's still not entirely clear.
I had a jump on my 1 minute chart, Hayden,
A jump.
and this, yeah, like a gap, and this
Oh, okay.
candle's just filled.
Right. Okay, so
Come
this
back
is
down to fill it.
looking nice that it's coming down. Getting into this wick. Let's just see something affirmative. Still much stronger to the downside, but maybe it's going to give us another double bottom. Okay, give us a liquidity candle here. So it's taking the low, now take this high. So if we get the right order of events, then we shouldn't be jumping into trades. Okay. So obviously this area was not respected. Now we're really creeping into this zone. So what's that look like on the higher time frame? Okay. So double bottoms, dojis, liquidity candles. Looking for all of these here. If it's going to drop further, then we also have imbalance across here. Damn, holding cells from up here would have been way easier. That's nearly 100 pip correction as well.
Mate, I was in this trade and I bloody closed it down when we were chatting with Joe earlier about it possibly going higher. I shit myself when I had a pullback, close the trade down.
Me
Oh,
too, Glenn.
Just get it
Yeah.
going.
Yes, that's why I got out and I went, oh yeah, no, you're kidding yourself, Danny. Like,
Well, what he
this
said
is-
made sense.
Yeah,
Because
no,
it hadn't
It
taken
did.
the Asian
It
high.
did.
got to trust your
It did.
analysis.
It did. It did. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It made perfect sense what he said because it hadn't taken the high and it was starting to pull back. It was making.
Yeah.
Okay, this is
the
about to be a
structure
FU.
was there, but it just, yeah.
There's about to be this liquidity candle. Broke the low and took the high. So now, see how it took the low inside the zone underneath this area. On the 3 minutes, looking like a wick. 5 minute, it's looking like a rejection. So now that it's closed higher, little pullback. We can't really take the wick here, or the open price is going to be tight as. So I might just give it a little feel I might put a little tiny trade on when it's breaking this high, because it's wicking down. I'm not going to do full risk on this one just because I would rather this have more of a wick, but it's dropped pretty low now. So let's just see if this candle can close or break this high. Still a downtrend, right? So it's still risky. That's why I want to just do it as I'd be happy to add. Oh gosh. Okay. Not yet. Didn't break the high. So I'd be happy to, like, even if I got in a more risky, smaller entry, if it does start playing out and doesn't come back down, then I could look at adding positions. So, okay. So I'm going to go in now. Keep my stop loss under here, under this imbalance that I drew. So stop loss is at 18.8. So it's a bit of a bigger stop loss than I'd like, 16 pips, but it's okay. We can try add positions. So entry was here. Stop loss is there. Going to target the top again. So hoping that this has picked up enough liquidity that now we can go and revisit some of these highs. So where's my... So let's see. Maybe 1640. Pretty ambitious, but let's go for it. Of course, we'll scale out along the way. But I'll try add positions as well. So if it works out, it'd be roughly 13-1, which would be amazing. But we've got a lot of hurdles along the way. What time? So 15 minutes close now. So 15-minute close, still bearish, right? So this could just wick up and then fill this wick to the downside. So got to be really mindful of that. If this pushes up and we get to 1-1, what I'll do is I'll just close half, leave the stop loss at where it is, and then it'll just be risk free. But at least we've got the risk out of it, because it is a bit more. It's not perfectly what I want to see. This could still be a potential double bottom, but it's inside this zone that I like, and it's underneath this wick, this doji over to the left. So we've filled this imbalance. We haven't filled this imbalance, but we've started to close some of it. So this is a POI, point of interest. Underneath this doji is going to be liquidity sitting here. So that's another point of interest. It's already retraced a lot of this move, which is another reason. And we've finally got this candle here, which was a liquidity candle. So it broke the low of the red one and then broke the high and closed above. Because this was just basically a solid candle that didn't leave much of a wick, that meant that retracement was a little bit more difficult to get in. So I wanted to wait for extra confirmation of breaking the high. Of course, the better entry would have been trying to capture the retest down here, but I wasn't fully certain of it yet. So hopefully this is just pulling back and then sort of respecting this area. We do also have on here, I'll move this gray bit. This was a bit of an imbalance here, but we're still fighting the downtrend. So let's see, I'm down like 1 pip at the moment. It just looks big because this is the 1 minute time frame. So 5 minute, look, it took the high. Like this is the area. This is a potential problem where it rejected, and now it's starting to maybe do the wick fill. We're just trusting that this wick we're trying to see if the signs from this wick has picked up enough liquidity that it shouldn't come back down to this bit. If it's breaking this low, it's obviously going to go for more. So that's why my stop loss is underneath this low. Any sort of wicks down is fine, because we just want, every time we're leaving a wick to the downside, we're hoping that it's picking up liquidity to drive the push up, and that this was just all manipulation. One hour still looking hella bearish. 4 hour looking the same. Still looking like a doji, but we want this to push back up, start flipping bullish. If it's flipping bullish, then there's a good chance that we get a wick fill for the next 4 hour candle. Okay. 1 minute now. We've got a doji again. So maybe doji, then a liquidity candle again. If we get that, then maybe we can look at maybe adding a position. But still, like, I wouldn't add anything. I wouldn't add more risk to this yet because I'm not out of the woods. So I need to get to 15 pips in profit before I can do anything. So this would be kind of mess that up, but that would be TP1. If it gets there. At the moment, it's just knocking around still. So 3 minute wick fill, 5 minute.
Should I go to bed again, mate? That seems to work.
Yeah. Oh, let's see if this one. Doji. Broken the low. See what it can do. Yeah, still not looking good. So it's like the feeler trade's not out of like it's not dead yet. It's just I don't want to add any risk to it. So at the moment, it's just keeping it quite small risk. Taking the sells every time it pulled back would have been opportunity to add a sell position, given the higher time frame trend. But it's so low. It's just so low into all of these support areas. Okay, so another doji. So even if this stops me out, I'll be willing, if it gives me the right confirmations, I'll be willing to give it a second chance. But I'd want to wait to see what I normally look for, which is basically this, just with a bigger wick. But at the moment, the longer that it just keeps on doing this kind of structure, it's looking like it's still generating more liquidity, that it could just be ready to manipulate the highs and lows again. So, Maureen, come on. Getting super close to the 4-hour closing now. So what it could do is when we're getting these higher time frame candles starting to come to a close, then there's going to be like a new batch of potential manipulation. This could have just simply been a pullback.
USD JPY is still climbing.
Yeah, it's insane. What is it now?
It's about to hit $1.51.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got a double bottom again. So this is setting up for manipulation again. So where's... Three-minute doji. Could this close as a liquidity grab? At the moment, all these little necklines have been holding. So going for the open price would have given us that better entry. That would have been pretty crazy. Pretty crazy though. It's like 3 pips, 5 pips. Too small.
Red plus 2.
Yeah, you'd still give it more room if that was the case. Where'd I originally have it there? So 30 seconds for the 4-hour to close. I mean, look at this is just like, look at this weekly. Far out. Monthly.
Oh,
Parabolic. Oh, not quite a liquidity candle, but broke the low, attempted liquidity candle. Attempted. Oh no, it's not. It's because it didn't take the high. Anyway. If we got the better entry, would have been at 1-to-1 already. So I'm only 3 pips up. Oh, there we go. Show some life. New 4-hour candles opened. So we're getting some liquidity coming in. This is the problem we've got right here. Won't worry about this slower one, but this one up here.
What's going on?
About 10-minute time frame, 8-minute time frame. Not that I don't look at these, I'm just playing around. 6-minute time frame, 5-minute time frame. If you're getting scared around this neckline, this is where, like, if it comes back to entry, maybe not let it become a losing trade. But this could be like, this is going to be the next reaction point, because at the moment, all the necklines, they've been having a bit of trouble getting through. You're probably not up much though when you factor in spread. I'm only up 6 pips. I know Forex CFDs are going to be even shittier spreads. Oh, hey, Marion. Fingers all right. I'm not, maybe it's not broken, but it's still bruised and it's straight-ish. But I got caught playing tag, and happens a lot, you know, it's not the first time it's happened, but got caught in the guy's shorts as I was trying to grab his tag, and shorts wrapped around my finger and then just snapped it, or like desiccated, at least something cracked. Okay, almost at TP1. If you want to take TP, if you want to take it now, it's only 3 pips away, just to make sure it's not going to be a losing trade. And then close 50% if you can. Leave stop loss where it is, and then you can just let the rest run, and we'll try add positions if you want, or wait till it gets, for me, it's when it gets to 1-to-1 is going to be this green line. So I risked 15 pips, 14.5 pips, and I'm up 12. When it gets here, it's going to be another 2 more. So that'll be 1-to-1. Oh, nearly. We've got clean candles to the left here, but now we're getting to this liquidity candle to the downside. So that's going to be a little issue. So that's 1-to-1 now for me. So I've taken half, close 50%. So now, no matter what happens, if it comes back down to my stop loss, break even, if I move my stop loss up to my entry, there's a very good chance that it'll come back and stop me out. So it's like, for Friday, if you want to do that, then it's fine. If you don't want to do that and just say, look, I'm happy with like half or nothing, then wait, no, sorry. If you want half, move your stop loss up to break even. If you want to either take full for the rest of the move or nothing, then leave your stop loss where it is. Now it's starting to push. Of course, as soon as you take profits, it starts to push up. But that's, what's the 5-minute looking? So this candle was a beautiful candle. Oh, sorry, where's the arrow? This one here was a really nice candle. Picked up some liquidity, broke the low, finished higher than the open price. So it's like a borderline liquidity candle. It's just not a perfect one, but it's a very good candle nonetheless. It's much stronger than this one and this one and this one. And the location of it is good because it's in our point of interest. See how I had multiple points of interest, and then as price wasn't respecting them, I just deleted them, and I was just waiting for have a point of interest in combination with price action. So that's how, like, risk entry is just taking a entry as soon as you get to a point of interest without waiting for confirmation, or you can combine the two. Combining the two means you've got to sit here and watch and be patient. So Sometimes, you know, sometimes I'd rather just maybe take a couple losses and then put some various entries in along the way. And it saves me actually having to sit here, but it's going to be like pros and cons for both sides. 15 minutes is looking bullish. Now we're getting to this potential rejection point over here. So we've got like a lot of wicks, candle bodies and wicks. So this is now the next area we need to break above. As soon as we can close above here and then start forming higher lows again, maybe these higher lows are going to be potential entry points that we could add risk back onto this trade. 30 minutes, not really doing much. 1 hour is kind of looking like a barcode at the moment. So this could be also, because we had such a heavy rejection area down here, maybe institutions and whatnot are needing to build an order block. So this could just be a consolidation of collecting orders, buy and sell orders. Before then, it's got enough sell orders to then break through and keep going with the trend. Or it's building up orders to then break up. We don't really know until the move happens. But if it moves up and breaks through all these ones, then there's a pretty good chance that this order block will be retested before we can go to a higher price point. If it breaks down, then it's the same thing. This would likely be retested before it goes to the next zone under 16.16. If we look at our monthly levels, no, let me go 4 hours actually. So if we create this order block in this area, and then we break down to this zone over here, which is going to be 16.13, the next zone underneath would be this 16.20 to 15.96 area. So if price builds an order block here and then wicks down to here, it's likely that it'll come back, retest this order block, then before it can start to actually break through here to the next zone, unless we have like some sort of news or something that's going to come out and then just does a catastrophic sell-off. Okay, so this area is right. You can see this has got a rejection so far. Kind of makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense to reject from here because let me tidy some things up. I'll leave this one here. Go to this double bottom. You see that this is a liquidity candle. Not a full engulfing, but liquidity candle where it broke the high of the previous one, broke the low, wasn't able to close lower, but it still broke the low. So we know that there's a lot of liquidity contained in the side of this candle. So when we look at the wick of it, that's where the manipulation and liquidity was pulled from. So I'll move it so it's taken purely just the wick between the candle body and the wick. You can see like it took it all the way to the top. If I go to the real lower time frames, you see how it's equal high. I thought it was actually going to just done like a pip above or a pipette above, but it did it perfectly, and then had that rejection. So that's fine, you know. That doesn't change anything. It just means like when you're trying to look for rejections, like the same thing that when you are looking for all the signs for a buy, a lot of the time our brains will hide all the signs against it, you know, because we're not looking for sell points. So sometimes we just don't see that this was a potential sell candle. So when it gets to the top of it, there's going to be a reaction point. And you know, even me, I find it sometimes hard to see this unless I'm say, okay, actively, I've got to look for these kind of candles now on the way up, because these could be rejection points. If I'm looking for it actively, I'll see it. If I'm not looking for it actively, I'm just trying to hunt my buy, then you might be missing some of these details inside of here.
Mate, that's been my fault all week doing that.
Yeah, it's very, very common. So
Like, looking for buys all week long, see everything I want to see for a buy, and a bloody lose. You look back at the formation and I go, mate, if I was looking for sells, I would have sold exactly there.
yeah, super common.
Oh,
So our brain's playing tricks on us. So in trading, you know, we need to learn to think differently. And that's where the mastery comes in. As soon as we can learn, we know, or we've learned how to think differently, because the market's all about like taking advantage of our weaknesses, our greed, our impatience, our just tunnel vision that we get. The market's designed to really exploit those. So need to have good risk management, need to be able to just stay alive in the market long enough so that we can start to change the way we think. And if we never adapt and never try change and learn from our mistakes, we're never going to change our thinking process. Then, you know, you just constantly fail as a trader. But if we can review our mistakes and slowly start to change the way we're thinking about it, because the market is, you know, we need to flip things upside down to be able to take advantage of it, then we can start to not just exploit, well, rather we can exploit other people's weaknesses as well, because we can be on the institutional side. And that's what's really moving it. Liquidity moves it. We can make winning trades buying. We take winning trades selling. Doesn't matter the trend if you get the timing perfect. Obviously, there's going to be like taking sells here would have been much easier than rather waiting for buys, but my bias was waiting for buys. So I just had to wait for the right combination of events, right sequence of events before I could try execute on a trade fairly safely. I'm not going to say this is the most safest entry, but at least, like, you know, I managed my risk. I waited patiently for something, didn't get emotional when it was retracing on me. I trusted that if this is the liquidity point that I've identified, then we shouldn't be going underneath it. So that's why my stop loss is tight, but not like down here tight. And then thinking that I've got to risk, you know, 40 pips in here to get one-to-one is going to be very difficult. But if I can actually pay attention to the details, then I can actually have a tighter stop loss. And I could, you know, we could have got an even tighter stop loss. I was saying we could have, you know, where I want to enter sometimes is on the open, but the open and the wick was a bit difficult to go down that low. So I waited for extra confirmation to break in the high, which meant that we're getting some buying order flow creeping back in, and that increased the probability. Still, you know, if this was a bigger risk than 20 pips, damn, it's going to be tough, because now I've got to get 20 pips before I can get even TP1. If I can keep my stop loss tight, safely tight, then I can get my risk out of the trade. And now, you know, this might not work out, but at least it's not going to cost me anything. And if it does work out now, then I've only got half my position running, but my risk reward's nearly 13-1. So it's still going to at least be 6-1 if the rest for the remaining position can get up there. Maybe you want to take more position off here if you can, up the top, and then say, you know, that was a good at least 3 or 4-1 trade. That's still not bad. Better than 1-1. So right now it's just dancing around. So 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the 10 o'clock candle. This is another. What kind of candle is this one?
Bullish engulfing.
Yeah, liquidity candle. So it makes sense now that if it breaks up higher, then we wouldn't really want to see it break the low of that candle. It can manipulate the low, but we don't really want it to close below or go too much further than the low. So if this closes up higher than here, then we can start to bring our stop loss into break even or profit land. But we'll have to wait for that to close up higher. And then we're trusting that this liquidity candle is the next level of liquidity. So this could be, we're starting to then, if this was our bullish market structure starting to form, then we've got structure 1 down here. And then if this, from this low, can push up and make a new higher high, then this would be like an order block or a liquidity candle, whatever you want to call it. But this would start to be our second structure. Sorry, this would be our first structure and this would be our second structure. So price can always come down to our second structure, as we know. But at least now for our trade, we're hoping that first structure holds. And we've got a bit of strength at the bottom of our first structure. We can only do that once we see what happens here, because this purple bluish box is still a bit of a, we know that's a little bit of an issue on our higher time frame. Oh, was it? Or was it the candle I was looking at? Or was it the 30-minute? Yeah, it was, sorry. It was a 30-minute area. It was these wicks, remember? But it lines up with that, that liquidity candle that's inside this move down. So 30-minute zone, sorry, 30-minute time frame, wick rejections, wicks, impulsive push up, impulsive push down. And now it's struggling at the high of this, where these wicks are sort of lining up. But when we look at this zone on the 5-minute time frame, or even 3-minute time frame, oh, you haven't got 3-minute on smart charts, but on the 3-minute time frame, what it lines up with is this candle body, the liquidity candle. We don't need to have the 3-minute time frame, because if we look at on the 5-minute, we know that there's a bit of consolidation here. Wicks. So this is lower time frame structure inside of here. So we just need to see it get above it. And there's the structure on the way down. So first structure, second structure. When it's these lower time frames and you see candles like this one, see how this one's at 1 minute? This is a 1-minute liquidity candle. This wick here, it is manipulation. So when there's manipulation like this on lower time frames, then when you're drawing your structure, you can contain that whole area rather than just the candle bodies. It's just another little bit of discretion, which is a bit annoying, having that kind of discretion when to use bodies, when to use wicks, but include manipulation as part of your structure. Because if we see reject, like we know we can see here, let me just remove this. I'll bring this line down. What are we starting to get around here?
Liquidity.
Yeah, we're getting liquidity build up. So we've got a triple top here. So people that are looking for sells could be thinking that maybe this is the area, and then we could be putting our stop losses above it. So it's looking like maybe the buys are over or coming to an end. But before the move down, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. It might not do that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did that. This could be a retest of this resistance candle. So now it's a battle. You know, we're just sort of ranging inside of here. We're going to see who's stronger. Is it going to be the resistance in the downtrend for all the time frames are down? Or is it going to be this liquidity? Is this 1 minute candle strong enough to support price? The 1 minute closed. Can we do a 1 minute wick fill? Come on, man. All the volume this time is gone. It's just fallen into this holding pattern. So, oh, this happens. You talk bad stuff about gold. Okay, so it's a liquidity candle. Still inside this range, you know, it doesn't mean anything yet. All right. Well, I'll I guess while it's not doing anything. What happened on DAX? This month, I see this monthly level held nicely. So where's consolidation? These wicks here, price pushed up, and then has everyone here happened to see the video that I put up last night? So we've got like all these dojis here. So what's this meaning? means liquidity is building up. So it took that liquidity, and sold off. Now, if we're looking inside of this area, see how like it's just how it really is. We can use these price action concepts across all pairs. It's simply the same. So now if we're looking inside of this candle here, we go look in all the different time frames and we sort of see the sequence of events. So it's still not much on the 1 minute. Okay, what's happening on the 1 minute? 1 minute, you'd look for signs to enter. So, it didn't quite give the nice one. It gave a wick up, little dojis. So this is a little doji here, then another little doji, and then this candle just broke down impulsively, but didn't take the highs. To get into this move, an easier move inside of here would be waiting for some sort of sign, some liquidity candle. If you don't get the high, if you don't get the manipulation from the high, then wait to see like if there's some sort of manipulation inside of here. So where is one? Don't quite see it. This is like a bearish engulfing bar by the bodies. If you waited for confirmation, you probably would have missed this. You don't always get the right confirmations. So price, yeah. Once it pushed up and then came down, more safer getting in underneath here, but you missed a lot of the move. But this was your support. Hit resistance, formed another little support, closed underneath. There's a bit of a range there, but nicer once it closed underneath here. Oh, look, gold's on the move. Nice. So up 35 pips now. So definitely gonna bring stops to break even now, or a little bit in profit, because who won the battle now out of this triple top and this support liquidity candle. So if you want, maybe close, if it comes back down, close some, because if this is just a liquidity grab from this triple top, then it's not going to stop at this liquidity candle again. But you can leave the rest to run if you want. I'm going to leave the rest to run. See if we can that this is the support that it made. We've got a little bit of a problem here. But if we go up time frames on the 15-minute, we're starting to get clean candles. So we could fill the clean candles. 30-minute, maybe this is just a 30-minute range, given it's Freaky Friday. And we could just be ranging inside of here. Maybe for Friday as well, I could just take profits at 16.26. That would still be a bloody decent trade, given that we used only a 15 pip stop and we're able to take 60 pips out of this. So that's 4-1. So minus the 50% that we closed. So a bit over 2-1. Still good for a Friday, Or see if something really freaky can happen and we can have picked the low of the week, and now the weekly candle could potentially be closing still bearish, but maybe the weekly candle is going to leave a longer wick to the downside so that the next week can do the wick fill. For a bit of luck, we've picked the low of the, not the low of the week, but pretty damn close to the low of the week. And now we're just Friday's doing the pullback. Yeah, we're up 40 pips now. So it's looking good, mate. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to get a coffee, go for a walk, get some breakfast. You enjoy that?
It was good. Thanks, Hayden.
Cool. So I really tried to talk as much through that one as possible. And this one won't get flagged for copyright. But you guys understood the price action, sort of how it goes hand in hand with the video I put in last night. If you haven't watched the video from last night, definitely give it a watch, because this was sort of just pulling it together. I'm going to put a lot more videos together. They are going to need a lot more videos to really capture all my thinking. It's just amazing how you start a video and then I look at the clock and like 25, 30 minutes is already gone. I'm like, oh my God, like so difficult to make a video to then just focus on one concept, because there's so much like extra little details and knowledges that I'm having to have as assumed knowledge. Anyway, we'll get there. So if you took it, congrats. There's now what I'd be looking for is around New York Open, there's going to be another round of manipulation. And then around New York Stock Exchange Open, another round of manipulation. I don't believe there's any actual news on today. So it could be a shitty day, like rangy day for New York session.
FOMC speech at 11:30, I think.
Yeah, Williams. So that's around just before NYSE. So yellow flag, depends what he's talking about. So he's going to give opening remarks about, what's he going to talk about? Depends on, sometimes they talk about agriculture, sometimes they talk about crypto, or so they haven't forecast it to be much impact. But potentially, there's always a potential. Who knows what, maybe some headline will come out. But that'll be me done for until New York, and then New York, I'll look for the same sort of thing. But what I'll do instead is how I've got my Asian high, low 50%. Now what I'll add to is my London high, low, and 50%. And I'll look for manipulation around those levels. Alrighty, so I'm going to end this here. I'm going to go get a coffee, and yeah, I'll chat to you guys in the Discord. All right.
Good night, mate.
I'll upload this to
very
YouTube
much.
so you guys can watch it over again.
Have a
this
good
without
day.
coffee.
Cool. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Good room.